Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel. This is AspieAnswersAll. Pretty much in the last video I was talking about AS and mixed feelings and what it entailed, pretty much of the differences of basically AS and anger. Pretty much obviously was the main one, as well as the temper meltdown, pretty much how it goes about, why it happens, how it happens, when it happens to some of us, you know, and how to solve it, basically how to diffuse the situation for some of us. You know, as I said, some of us needs to just, you know, reevaluate in the situation and maybe have time out period for whatever it may be, so to speak. Without further ado though, for the chapter that I'm hoping to go on is Blame and Internalizing Guilt, that will lead on to that AS and anger, pretty much of this AS and mixed feelings series. So pretty much this is go. As some of you are aware though, that basically I'm cool, calm, collected most of the time, and sometimes I might come across as maybe socially awkward sometimes now and again, but then as I said before, that I am progressing now with trying to come out of my shell and actually rely on people to talk to, regardless what it may be, so to speak, and that, you know, hopefully that all goes well. Sometimes I may be in some other moods, however, never mind whatever it is. Some moods might mask over my moods, sort of thing. As I said before, imagine me wearing a mask of that half happy, half sad, of that comedy kind of structure that basically comes about, sort of thing. It goes also to the territory when I'm depressed and down and out. Sometimes that's how it goes. Despite it all, that yes, many times it's a battle for me with these emotions, fighting it out, you know, like a roller coaster of emotions, shall we call it, basically, you know. Sometimes, however, as I said in my previous videos, that I'm too hard to understand, too hard to just, you know, talk to, too hard to just socialise with and stuff sometimes. And it's just like, well, what the hell are you doing here then if you're talking to me? All these other labels and more pretty much obviously comes into play. But as I said before, I'm trying to remove those labels and just get on with my everyday life, whatever it may be. A lot of people tend to make an assumption or judgment based on what I say, how I talk, or what I say, and it's like I'm trying to learn now, it's not what I say but how I say it. Sometimes it comes across, sometimes, you know, really rude and abrupt. Other times it might just come out full circle that I'm not doing the right thing, be it whatever it may be. You know, I tend to try my very hardest to communicate to people, never mind that how I speak and what I speak, you know, I'm still a human after all, and yes, I do make mistakes, you know. But sometimes I feel that when that happens, based on how and what I speak, is based on pure ignorance or arrogance towards me of how I should be. And sometimes I feel that I shouldn't have to dress to impress or speak the way they speak. If this is me, I am who I am. And just to give you the heads up, as I keep saying, this is just an awareness and understanding between you guys, hopefully to just connect with me basically on my journey with AS and all these other conditions, and hopefully with this awareness and knowledge and know-how that basically if you come across someone like me in the street, that it will maybe work for you to understand them more. Sometimes, as I said before, this is just based on people's pure ignorance, based on just what they've been taught or learned, or what they may have researched that is right. Sometimes some people are just too set on their own ways, basically, to know about certain things and think this is the only way that they should go about it. But then again, there are other ways to go about it as well, so to speak. You know, sometimes I feel it's just the lacking of understanding and knowledge and awareness also to address. When I'm not looking at you or making the particular eye contact, don't assume straight away that I'm not actually paying full attention to you. Yes, I am. I may be self-absorbed into something else at that time when I'm not looking at you. I don't know. But then again, sometimes with me, I have other cluttered thoughts up there that tries to overtake what you guys are maybe saying. But then again, I do tend to have a tendency to just zone out and stuff. But then again, like I said in my last video, if I basically can recall everything or have some sort of reassurance from you lot that I am on the right track of what I heard in the first place when I'm paying attention to with you, then be grateful. Even though now and again, as I said in one of my videos, a socialization period for me, sometimes when I socialize in big groups, can be tiring and I need my time out from it. And many people may think that it's just pure ignorance or arrogance out of me just to walk out and just not tell you or whatever the case may be. But you know, I will come to that point that I will try and talk to you guys and let you know what I'm feeling on that. But it doesn't mean I should self-validate myself onto how I feel all the time. Yes, it does make people angry, frustrated, and that when I'm not fully focusing on you, be it on the eye contact, no matter what it may be. You know, I see that some of people in my social circle and outside it, that's they lack of empathy and understanding on how it goes about it, as well as the patience level, tolerance. So yes, we all have a certain level of patience and understanding, whatever else the case may be. But then again, when it comes to us not making the eye contact, has been said that we are guilty of knowing something, or guilty of basically thinking something, or guilty of saying something, maybe. But then again, I feel that it's not all about us being guilty of what we may think or say or do. Sometimes it's just pure that some of us just want to close off and just want to zone out into something different, sort of thing. But what there is more to it than you realise, more to meets the eye, let's put it that way, than that. And meeting in the eye there. Us aspies, however, internalise a lot of guilt to what was said to us, how we get treated, and through that treatment that we sometimes tolerate to a point that we find it acceptable or accepted as just right, you know, even though if it means that, for example, if someone was constantly bullying me or forcing me to do something that I don't want to do, pretty much, then there will be a time that I'll be saying enough is enough, or stop. I'm just trying to tell it to them how it is. Stop, I don't like the way you're trying to talk to me, or can you please not say it this way, because obviously, you know, you're not thinking straight and not obviously giving me the time of day actually to express my feelings and emotions, even though there is a right time and a wrong to speak. I've learned that, but then again, now is my time to speak, so forth. As I said, based on some of the traits in one of the videos that we just mentioned, some of us may need to just feel able to feel comfortable in being able to express ourselves in a way that we can express our feelings and emotions, but even some of us are still learning the cues of basically people's body languages and reading through their emotions, even if, like I said so many times before, that many of us read through black and white and through the lines. Yeah, we are portrayed in society that we are in a box, left untouched, and basically just left alone, and that we obviously get left out sometimes, even though most of us are blamed for our social awkwardness, as I said before, and erratic and uncontrollable behaviours. Yet sometimes we may say, or even say, our actions don't even meet up to what we're saying. You know, even though that we don't know what we're doing wrong, sometimes some of us aspects when we do say or do something towards a particular someone. Yet most of us, well, for me anyway, I try to fix it and solve it before it gets to blown out of too proportion, and there will always be more than one solution to the puzzle of whatever it may be. Also, we never know what we did, what was wrong in the first place, as there's a profound sense of confusion, alienation, and guilt crept into our psyche that will then displace us into our childhood emotions, be it whatever it may be. As I said in one of the last vids, that sometimes we need to reprogram what we learnt, reprogram what we've said, reprogram what we've researched, reprogrammed, whatever it may be. Like another one is imagining ourselves being on a film strip, watching other people's behaviours and stuff, and copying and retaliating that, trying to retaliate that kind of behaviour, and thinking that it's acceptable, how to act and whatever else sometimes. Then sometimes we tend to, if a certain occasion arises, that's when we tend to arise and think that this is the right way. When certain situations has arisen in my past life, and sometimes in the present, I've been told to shut up and back up the train, but you know, or back up my ideas, sort of thing. Try not to word it in a real aggressive way here, basically. Yet this wasn't clearly understood to why I was acting this way in the first place, hence why I kept remaining keeping myself remaining out of the socialization circle of socializing with people, regardless what it may be. There's, as I said in one of my videos in the past, I was abused and sort of thing, thought this is how it's supposed to be, and that's it, you know, tolerate to that point. You know, they see me as a person as well as with AS. People need to realise this, despite with having that Asperger's syndrome label or some other labels on me, be it depression and everything else, you know, need to aware that I am still human too. Sometimes us Aspies are projecting to others, and how we and what we react to is on purpose. Many times I've seen that 9 times out of 10 that whatever I may say do, it's my fault, and that, like I said in my last video, that many people tend to think that they're in the right all the time. They have to be right all the time regardless. But there's a point now I'm learning that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to just admit my faults and basically hopefully just have that self-dignity intact and whatnot. But then sometimes, like, I've realised though, some of them may have asked this, that it's our fault, you know, be it whatever we've been through in our lives, sort of thing. Sometimes some families, communities, and more, out of ignorance or jealousy, will accuse us Aspies for faking certain reactions at that time during attention to ourselves. Especially in a female Aspie, sometimes they think that we're over dramatic, we're pretty much too emotional, and we just go out there and just, you know, be a drama queen, so to speak. Yet some families will take the blame for what the Aspie is doing or saying at that given time, pretty much, even though it may be a forced well. I felt I was like in a controlled environment that was hostile. Everything I say or do, I was being watched like a hawk, pretty much, with a real close eye, no matter what it would have been. Nothing I did at that time was, as this keeps reaching, that the feeling I should have been doing better, and everything I put my heart and soul into, regardless of what it would be. Basically, yes, I am the kind of person that I tend to put myself down, pretty much, obviously, and no matter what happens, pretty much, when I put myself down, many people may think, geez, Kerrin, why are you doing this in the first place, you know? Maybe I am being too hard on myself sometimes, regardless of what I've been through, what I'm maybe facing, or whatever the case may be. But then again, you know, time will tell. Pretty much, hopefully, for these successes along the way is slow and steady. Life is a journey. Slow and steady wins the race. Obviously, especially with that tortoise in the hair story. Every time in my life, people walked out of my life for a lot of reasons. I got told despite it all of people walking in and out of my life and what I've been through, that I'm a strong one. Despite that, yes, I'll be fine, I'll make it, you know, and all this sort of stuff. Despite that, yes, I'm learning now to try and let go of certain situations that I can't control over, be it a family death, be it losing a job, be it, like, I didn't get a place, like, here's an example, at the moment I'm waiting on if I've got a place in my social circle of my education of a polytech that I've been enrolled in here. Sometimes though, however, the list goes on, for some of the behavioural problems I've shown is a fear of change, emotional immaturity, obsessive behaviour that needs full control. Yet I am starting to become better in myself and changing that, and actually realising that no matter what's the situation, let go. So, you know, even though I put on the brave face all the time, many people may think I'm crazy, many people may think whatever the case may be when this happens, but that's their decision on how they want to come across with me, of what they see in me as a person, you know, like, again, choice factor, take me or leave me, like I do with them. Some people, they pick out my faults, however, you know, turn them into my positives, even though I may have faults and weaknesses and stuff, and I'm learning right now just to have these faults, weaknesses and whatever else as a self-motivator for me to actually move it and get on with life. Yes, some situations will come in our lives to test us and push our buttons, or whatever the case may be, causing me sometimes, when that happens, if it gets too overwhelming, that's when the meltdown stages, as I said before, or my anxiety attacks and more. Yet there will always be some internalization of blame that we take on board. We feel this guilt for other reasons also. We look normal to some NTs, however, you know, regardless what it may be. We're often extremely smart on others, even though many people think they were too smart, smarty pants, you know. I used to remember back in the days in high school, flying through with flying colours with my above average grades and everything, and everybody's like looking at me strangely thinking, how the hell did I get all these grades? Despite, yes, I may be too bright for my own good sort of thing, even though I self-teach myself, self-learn and all that myself at the moment of what needs to be dealt with. Like in our everyday lives, it doesn't have to be basically on our education circle, but it can be just life in general, so to speak, what I want to follow through with my passions and dreams like anyone else might do. We're often extremely excited to deal with it, get over it. Most of us wish we could get over some of the things that may come our way. Some of us may feel that we're trapped in a way that we can't get out of, be it whatever it may be. But then again, if we had the right support network going, be it friends, family, support groups, be it church members, be it wherever we are at that time, support is crucial to the point of no return. Men has their own pressures, yet many of us women, especially Aspies, are expected by society to be capable, multitasking, highly aware, doiness of manners, quiet etiquette, as well as feeling this is our own way of living, of being this sort of thing. As I said before, many times we shouldn't have to change ourselves to just suit everyone. It should be fine for us just to take a step of faith and actually be different and actually show the world that despite our differences, that maybe we can be the ones making the difference, who knows. But then again, I feel that even though we're different, well, for me anyway, how I look at it is that, yes, I'm trying to get out of my skin and actually take that leap of faith forward, basically, of the unknown, of basically hoping that regardless what's to come of me, that I will make a difference in other people's lives, even though, like, before I end this video, I want to thank some of the people that has been supporting me on Facebook, basically, that's been PMing me about, basically, I'm a light for them, basically, of encouragement, regardless of what they're going through, even though everyone has their different struggles in life, be it depression, be it whatever it may be. But then again, you know, as I said before, some of the advice I give out there may not be the right ones for some. But then again, take it or leave it. You know, you can take it on board, think it, you know, meditate on it, and think if it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, it doesn't. As I said before in one of my videos about in the AS and Depression series, that basically, you know, my advice might be different to your advice, or thinking patterns and how you cope with it is different. But then again, you know, I feel that the most important thing is basically finding the right support at that time when we're down and out, basically. So, in all further ado, this is the end of basically my AS and Blame Internalising Guilt series, sort of thing, on my chapter of my book. Please like, comment, subscribe below is my contact details, basically. Give me a thumbs up, pretty much, if you like this and want to find out more, basically. Hopefully doing more videos later on in the piece of certain things which I'm hoping to bring out some new ones, like maybe social anxiety, how I cope with that, as well as anxiety attacks that I get sometimes now and again when I am in a real bad group, maybe some sort of tips on that. Also, someone suggested to me, which I'm hoping to do, is even though with the World of Differences chapter, basically I'm hoping to address maybe ADHD as another form of condition, pretty much of how they struggle to fit in and socialise with others, sort of thing, and share my piece of what I've learnt basically on this and more. But all in further ado, thanks for watching and I'll see you all soon.